If ever I could stress how important it is to have a stocked pantry, to have a little bit of an emergency fund, now is the time. Seriously. Imagine you're going about your business, you're doing you do, you kind of got your plans. Yeah, you're doing paycheck to paycheck, the whole thing, but you're getting it done, you're stocking your pantry, you're taking care of business. And maybe squeaking out a little bit of joy here and there. And then poof, you're out of work. Just like that. No warning, no nothing. And now you have to figure out the next steps moving forward. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. I received a message. I had a conversation with a longtime dazer, and we chatted a little bit this morning because she messaged me in one of her more difficult times to say, I would like to thank you for what you do. I've been on my pantry preparedness for several years now, preparing for what ifs. I'm sitting here now watching your videos on Budget Like a Pro, and there is so much great information. Number one, thank you. So Friday, the what if happened. I've worked at this business for 23 years, and my husband has worked for them for 18, and now we are both unemployed. When it happened, I went into full panic mode. We live paycheck to paycheck. I have on my calendar how much we need to make each week to pay next week's bills. I have 2 boys with special needs, and my mind went on and on, but then I stopped. I have a well-stocked pantry, so we don't have to go to the grocery store for quite a while, other than for one child. Our vehicles are paid for, our house is paid for. So basically, I have to be able to pay for electric, gas, medical appointments, which equal up to about $300 a month. So once again, thank you for your wisdom and guidance. These messages, when you take me into your confidence like this, it humbles me more than I can possibly put to words. And so we talked for a little bit, and I'm crossing my fingers that they can both find some kind of work relatively soon, and that they can keep moving forward, because this whole situation was just bad. And because they do have a special needs child that is very sensitive to foods and has a very specific diet that they are willing to eat, this makes it even more complicated. So she is going to try out, I think, ugly chicken tenders. Yeah, to see if he will eat them. But when this kind of thing happens, you tend to spiral. There's kind of no way around it, right? Once you get past that initial shock, you go into full-blown panic mode. You spiral into all of the worst case scenarios, and you freeze. You just don't know what else to do. So today I thought we would chat a little bit about different ways that you can not spiral, that you can work towards not spiraling. I think no matter what, we're all going to do it a little bit, but these might be able to help you if this situation comes to you, which I truly hope it doesn't. I feel so bad with everything that's going on. There are so many people becoming unemployed that it terrifies me. It absolutely terrifies me. And so if ever I could stress how important it is to have a stocked pantry, to have a little bit of an emergency fund, now is the time. Seriously. I do want to make this little announcement. I am not a licensed therapist, okay? Nor do I play one on YouTube. But these are some strategies that I think can help you if you're feeling overwhelmed. And so I thought we would go through those and then discuss some other ways to try to save some money. Number one, pause and breathe. I mean, when you get hit with something like that, it is life altering. And I get it. I've been there, okay? It is life altering. I once walked into a job that I went to every single day. I gave my heart and soul. I lived and breathed this job. And I walked in one day and there were no utilities on because the owner, instead of paying the bills, bought lottery tickets. Yeah. Poof, like that, I was out of work. Psh. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No going back. So I know I've been there, and I know the spiral and the panic that can ensue, especially when you're not prepared. Because at the time I wasn't prepared, and it was terrifying. It was truly terrifying. And it was at that cusp where you couldn't just walk in the door and get a job, where you have to go through 3 different interviews and go online to submit your resume and, all this other stuff. So, I mean, it was a challenging time to say the least, to say the least. So pause and breathe. Start with a few deep, slow breaths, okay? Just sit down for a minute and breathe. This can help calm your nervous system and it gives you a moment to step back. Sometimes you just need to take that step back and imagine that it's not you, but it's somebody you know, okay? And then you can look at it a little bit more objectively. Number 2 is to ground yourself. Yeah, I know it sounds all woo-woo and everything, right? But try just, naming 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste, right? It helps pull you back into the present moment if you are truly spiraling out of control. If you are having a panic attack or anxiety, that kind of activity can help bring you back and ground you a little bit. Just sometimes sitting and breathing for a few minutes can bring you back and ground you a little bit. It really helps. Number 3, you want to break it down. Okay. So this is when we start getting just, we're going to do it. Okay. Instead of letting the entire situation overwhelm you, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. What is one small thing that you can address first? I am huge on going after the low hanging fruit. Okay. If you have 20 things that you need to do, find the first 5 easiest and tackle them, because then you're accomplished. Then you've only got 5 things that you have to do. Okay. So go after that low hanging fruit, break down what the concerns are, write them down, break down what the concerns are, break down what the obstacles are, break down some potential solutions, and break down some actions moving forward. It'll help. Pen and paper, huge. Definitely reach out, okay? Even if it feels like you're alone, you're not. You're rarely alone, okay? So connecting with a trusted friend or a loved one, it can provide perspective and support. Sometimes you just need an ear, okay? And it makes all the difference in the world, just being able to purge all those feelings, So sometimes just talking things out can alleviate some of the pressure. It's kind of like the pressure canner, right? Let it vent. Get that steam out, let that pressure out, and it won't solve the problem, but it'll make you feel a little bit better just being able to purge it. It really will. Number 1 is give yourself a little self-compassion, okay? Remind yourself that it's okay to struggle. Everyone's going to struggle at some point, and you're doing the best you can. Be kind to yourself. Being kind to yourself, giving yourself some grace can definitely reduce the intensity of the emotions that you're feeling. Give yourself some grace. You're doing the best you can. I'm not big on reliving yesterday, but definitely remind yourself, reflect on some past successes, because you've made it this far, baby. You really have. Okay. You've made it this far. You've made it through tougher times. You've made it through better times. You'll make it through these too. Okay. So think about previous challenges that you've overcome. It can reinforce a belief that you have in yourself, in your strength, and in your reliance, because you are strong. You are. You are doing fantastic. You are working hard, and you will get back on your feet again. It happens. If you find yourself in kind of a prolonged state of despair, right? And it can happen. I know it can. Depression can definitely kick in. Even if you don't normally suffer from depression, depression can kick in. But remember, I mean, especially now, you so much breathe near a doctor's office. They say, do you need help? Do you need to talk to somebody? I'm asked every time I walk in there. I'm like, no, I'm fine. But if you call your doctor, they should be able to refer you to somebody, if you don't already know of somebody in the area that can give you some professional help, because no matter how bad it is, it will get better. And even though it feels like it could be the straw that broke the camel's back, been there. Okay. I've been there so many times, but you persevere. And because you are resilient and because you are stronger than you believe you are, you will make it through this and things will work out and things will get better. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Okay. And so maybe this was the impetus to have them leave a job that was not rewarding. No, it wasn't on their terms. No, the timing really sucked. Whatever. But I believe that these people will land in a much better position now that they have been given that freedom that they didn't want, that nobody wants right now. Okay. But they've got this. They're resilient, they're strong, and they will make it. And you are too. So definitely reach out for help if you feel like it's just the last thing that you can possibly deal with. Okay, now we're going to talk about, okay, the S has hit the F. You've gone through all these. You're a little calmer now, okay? And so now we're going to work on, okay, where can we cut corners? There are so many corners you can cut, you guys, okay? But these are just some real general to make you think about where you can cut these corners. I'll be the first person to tell you that the time to cut these corners is before the S hits the F, okay? Because then you can put that money that you're spending on these things in the bank and have it for just such an emergency. It's really hard to build up a savings. Trust me, okay? As somebody who is hemorrhaging cash at the moment, I get it. But it's doable, even if it's just a little bit at a time. So these are some things, just general advice for being more frugal, because that will help you. It'll give you something to focus on instead of spiraling, okay? You'll be able to, it's the low-hanging fruit. It really is. So number one, hey guys, I just talked about it, create a budget, okay? I will link that video at the end of this. There's a lot of stuff in there to consider. I'm talking too much. I always talk too much, but definitely create some kind of budget. Figure out what your bills are. Go online and you can see, if your electric bill, that you can go back and see a whole year's worth, most likely, to figure out where your electric is at. What can you do to reduce that? What is your water at? Get hold of, your credit card companies and say, look, this has just happened, so I need a little grace right now, Work with whoever you have to work with and write that budget so that you know exactly what your bottom line number is to be able to get through these next few months while you're looking for a job. Prioritizing essentials. Wants versus needs. It's easy to say, it's easy to preach. It's not always easy to do, okay? Especially if you're stressed. What do you do when you're stressed? You eat. What else do you do when you're stressed? You shop, okay? So, yeah, wants versus needs. It's much easier to say than do, but prioritize, focus on spending money only when necessary and beneficial in both short and long term. Both short and long term, okay? You definitely want to start planning out some meals and shop smart. So meal planning can reduce food waste, cut grocery costs, look for sales, coupons, consider bulk purchasing non-perishable items if it fits in your budget for what you've got to deal with. If you are tight on money, eat down that pantry. That's why it's there. Immediately find your local food bank. Immediately, okay? Find your local food bank or the local food banks that do giveaways around you, because there's typically more than one. Find them, utilize them. Pride has no place in this. It's about survival. It's about resilience. You can do this. Definitely cut unnecessary subscriptions, okay? Cut your streaming service, cut your book of the month club, cut, all of that extra stuff. Shut it off. Pause it if it's an option. If it makes you feel better, pause it, okay? But it's time to make those not happen. But you need some joy in life. Have joy in life when you're back on the straight and narrow, when you're back to, okay, I can breathe now because I have money coming in again. Until then, you've got a million things around your house to do. I know you do, okay? So use up that yarn stash. Read those books. Go for a walk. Go to the library. Do whatever you have to do that's free, available immediately, and doesn't cause you to go backwards in your progress. Definitely, this is the time to practice some DIY. Oh my gosh. Okay. There are times when you just can't. Trust me, we've been doing this for a day and a half now. But learn basic repair or maintenance skills to reduce dependency on paid services. If your toilet gets clogged, do not call a plumber. Go find a snake. Borrow a snake, rent a snake, whatever. snake that puppy out. Handle it first. Try it first. Look up how to do it, okay? If your furnace stops working because it snowed a gazillion inches all over your roof, buried the pipe, the exhaust pipe, and so your furnace stopped working, and then you couldn't get it to work again, and you changed the coupling, and you can't get it to light again, and you have been messing with it for 24 hours, okay, fine. Call the HVAC guys, okay? But yeah, thankfully they didn't have to replace the furnace. It was like $140. Could I have spent $140 someplace else? Yes. We did what we could with the knowledge we had. So at first it was great. It was going to cost us $14 for the new coupling, right? But yeah, okay. But now Phil has seen how he did it, and we're good. Definitely avoid impulse buys, because you are going to notice them more, but you're also potentially going to submit to them more. And I don't know if you've been through this. You're pinching pennies. And when you're standing there looking at this thing that wasn't on your list, that isn't something that you absolutely need, and you're going, but it's a really great price. No, that has nothing to do with nothing, okay? So before making a purchase, give yourself a cooling off period to ensure that it's something that you really need. And I mean, walk out of the store and come back a week later, because yeah, I can justify almost anything within a couple hours. But in a week, nah, I can't. Last but not Last but not least, set some frugal goals, okay? You've got a few minutes here now. You've set your budget. You know what your number is. You've taken a few deep breaths. You're giving yourself some grace. You're working out a plan for next steps moving forward, okay? But now set some frugal goals. It beats going shopping, right? Whether it's saving for an emergency fund or a future project, having clear goals that can motivate you to stick to a frugal lifestyle. It really does help. My goal is to do this by the end of the month. So what can I cut without too much discomfort or without causing harm to anybody in my household? What can I cut to meet this goal? I mean, that'll keep you busy all night long. You can turn off NCIS. Yeah, it's not necessary anymore. First of all, I want you to remember that it's perfectly normal to have moments where everything feels overwhelming. It's perfectly normal. You're not alone. You're not the first one it's happened to. You won't be the last one it happens to. And that doesn't matter, because right now it's happening. And so who cares if you're the first or the last? I get it. But don't let it take you down, okay? Taking even one small step towards self-care is progress. One small step in creating a budget, in grounding yourself, okay? Pause, take a deep breath, break it down, self-compassion, reflect on past successes. And if you absolutely need to, absolutely do it. There's no shame in it. Get some professional help. There are people out there who can help you. And that's with everything from, somebody to talk to utilizing the services that are available. Okay, the unemployment paperwork, that's a nightmare if it's anything like it used to be. The food banks that are out there that can help you. The organizations that can help you with utilities if you have trouble paying for them, okay? Definitely, there's no shame in this. And when you come out of this on the other end, maybe you can help out so that other people will have those same places to go to. It's a great way to pay it forward, Definitely create a budget, prioritize your essentials, track your spending, cut unnecessary subscriptions, practice DIY, okay? Avoid impulse buys, especially when it has to do with DIY. Set some frugal goals. It's amazing how much that helps focus your mind. By integrating these strategies into your life, you can create a more stable foundation during a very tumultuous time. Both emotionally and financially, it will be of help. Small steps can lead to big improvements over time. Never forget that. You're not alone. And if you have stumbled across a difficult time, definitely take time to breathe, because this too shall pass, okay? We can do this together. We can do this as a community. If you have any good suggestions, thoughtful, caring suggestions to give to people who might be going through this right now, or to give to people who might watch this and come back to it when they do go through it, we've got some really bumpy roads ahead of us. A lot of people, a lot of middle, lower class people are losing their jobs left and right. We need to address how to get through this bump, because it's going to get rough, but it's not insurmountable. If you want to check out how to work on a budget, different ideas, check out this video right here. Until next time, everybody, give yourself some grace. Be safe. Stack it to the rafters, my friends.